Hey guys, I'm coming to you on a very bright afternoon on an Athenian rooftop. Oh, sorry. I went to the dentist today and she told me I needed to floss more, so I'm gonna floss more. But my gums are really sensitive, so it's really bright. But outfit fit, check. So sometimes you need to take a breather, maybe go to a nice little lookout, nice little rooftop or something, and think out some problems or situations that you might have. This is like really good to even practice like speeches if that's what you do. But sometimes you need to just, is that the Parthenon? Yeah, really cute. Okay, sometimes you just need to take a thinker, take a breather, breathe in some Mother Nature air, look at some beautiful views, maybe even go to somewhere that has like nice nature. I actually have some plants really close to me, not this like dead tree. Some plants connecting with Mother Nature. We're gonna go somewhere where it's not as windy and crazy. Okay, so now that we're in a closed door environment, and the sun's not blinding my eyes, let me go ahead and say a couple more things. So besides the ethic and trick of, let's say, going for a walk or going up to like a nice view, looking and just taking some deep breaths and analyzing whatever situation that you're in and seeing, let's say, what you can do about it or what you can actually decide for whatever you're contemplating. I feel like this video is more for people that have multiple things to think about, or let's say have very important things, maybe in some cases like serious things to think about, things that they need to decide that have to do with their life, way of living, or important decisions. Maybe uni decisions, like what uni you want to choose to go to. Maybe if it's a work decision or a friendship or relationship contemplation. I think that in those moments we can actually see that it's vital to have some sort of mentality and way of solving whatever problem is in front of you, because life is full of problems, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just means that for you to progress in life, you do need to overcome whatever obstacle is in front of you, and this problem that you need to find a solution for can affect your life in a bigger way or on a bigger scale. So before we talk about how to become solution oriented, I think that we should talk about what is stopping you from getting to being solution oriented. So sometimes one might have a tendency to avoid things that are quite stressful in their life, or they want to avoid having to deal with a certain issue or problem, or they are only choosing to focus on certain things, therefore they're neglecting other aspects of different, let's say, problems in their life. Like for example, if you have a tendency to go on your phone and scroll through social media instead of, let's say, responding to that text message that you need to respond to, or responding to an email that needs to be finished and you need to get it done, but you're just choosing to just scroll a bit more, see things a bit more. Or let's say you choose to binge Netflix every night instead of, let's say, doing something that can get you closer towards a solution that you have for yourself or a goal that you have for yourself. I think that a lot of people are just afraid to see things that are maybe right in front of them, or see things that they don't necessarily want to see in that moment, or maybe they're used to living a certain way and they don't want to change the way that they are living. Also, you think you know the answer and you're acting and doing things in a way because you think you know the answer, or that makes you think that you're right or something, when in actual fact, like, you might be totally wrong. And that is a totally okay thing to realize about yourself. Like, let's say you've been cutting tomatoes your entire life wrong, or you've been loading the dishwasher your entire life wrong. Like, it's quite a humbling experience to realize that you might not be totally right in that situation, and there might be a better way to get things done or to do things. And I think that as long as we're open to learning and receiving knowledge, then we're on the right track. Now, maybe in your mind, you're playing ping pong with different scenarios, different problems, different options in your head, and you're trying to figure out what to do about the problem, what to do about the situation, how to come about the solution, what is the best path and way to go about it. So an author that I really like called Mel Robbins has a book actually that she's come out with, and she's really great. She also takes frozen ice baths in her country house that's like minus 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and she like plunges in this like ice bath. I actually went swimming in the sea when it was snowing outside. Yeah, that was definitely something. But I do swim like regularly, seasonally, so it wasn't like a big shock to my body. I later found out that like you can get a heart attack if you don't do that often, and you can actually shock your body because of how cold it is. But I was good. I didn't, you know, didn't plunge my head in. I just swam in with my body, so like that was fine. Anyways, so basically she has this method called 5 4 3 2 1. And basically, whenever you have to decide something, whenever you want to do something, and maybe let's say you're sitting on the couch and you're watching Netflix, or you want to get a second plate of something that isn't that healthy, you count in your mind 5 4 3 2 1, and you make your decision. Go for it. You don't go for it, but you count 5 4 3 2 1, and then you make a decision. I think it gives great discipline to yourself and like the actions that you may take or make. I also another way that you can go about things, that you can decide things and become more solution oriented, is literally writing it down on a piece of paper. Write a pros and cons list, write all your pros for that situation, write all of your cons for that situation, and just weigh them out. I have done this for so many things in my life, and so many like big things in my life and decisions that I had to take. I would literally write a pros and cons list, because I am more of the type of person that will ponder, oh, okay, what if this, what if that, if I go this way, if I go that way, like what's the best route for me, what's the best option for me, what's the best decision for me. I will literally write a pros and cons list of whatever needs to be solved. I have done this many times and I highly recommend this. It's one of my favorites, but I feel like that is for more like bigger decisions that you have to make for you to come to like a solution and a decision. I also recommend talking with someone. Now, this doesn't have to be any like random person. Some people say that it's better to actually talk to a stranger about, let's say, a problem that you might have, because they might give you a less biased opinion and a less emotionally attached or connected opinion, because sometimes the people close to us might have their own opinion and bias, or they want to infiltrate the solution so that it can also suit them, which people do also need to look out for themselves, but you need to actually look out for yourself as well. So if you're relying on other people's opinions that are like very close to you, like you might want to either write it down for yourself, write a little entry or write down on a piece of paper like how you feel about it, what you want to come out from this, what are the concepts and aspects that are being at play for this to happen, for this to not happen. Or you can talk to someone. You don't have to go into huge detail, but talk to someone maybe more separated from your situation, so they can give you a better option or a more objective answer. Also, talking to a therapist is also great, or talking to like a professional who can create a safe space for you and your thoughts and your problems, and just kind of work them all out in like a four walls of like a safe space. Sometimes some therapists prefer for you to work through your own problems and not necessarily tell you, okay, this is what you should do. They kind of just let you have like a safe space that you can work through whatever you need to work through, and they can kind of maybe guide the path, or maybe just kind of have like a protected space for you to then figure out, okay, let me just reflect for a second, let me just figure this out for a second, and just you have like a space where you can do that. And if you're very theoretical and you are very much like in tune with your feelings, or you're a very feeling person, you kind of guide with your heart more than your head, sometimes things can feel more complicated than they already are, just because maybe you're feeling a certain way but your logic is like saying something else, when your logic maybe needs to be used more than your feelings. In some situations, then logic needs to kind of take charge and just separate like what's what. That's why I like a pros and cons list a lot as well. For example, if you want to text that ex that you can't really seem to shrug, if you want to text that ex in the early hours of the night, don't recommend, hear me out. And that may go as like vice versa. Maybe you receive a text from your ex in the early hours of the night, and maybe you're like curious or enticed or whatever to see like, okay, what do they have to say? I feel like that's more your feelings taking control there, whereas like your logic is like, okay, let me just go to bed, let me just get my night's worth of sleep, let me relax, let me rest my body, and I can deal with whatever I need to deal with the next day when I'm well rested with a clear mind and a more clear head on whether maybe you should respond to them, maybe you shouldn't respond to them, whatever the situation is. Also, don't make big decisions without having slept on it, without having thought on it, and without having lived on it, especially when it comes to the bigger things. To become solution oriented, impulsivity could be not that smart of an idea when it comes to these things. Sometimes you need to just think things out and have that communication, because there may be other parties involved, then see how you want to go from there. Anyways, I hope that these tips helped you out. Let me know which one was your favorite, and make sure you like, subscribe if you want to. Bye!